we've got a little bit of a battle. This is Paul Wildridge. Is this finally it? Almost banging doors down the chemistry.
Paul's getting aggressive. He tried to pinch him down. And the 24's in the wall. They're going to wreck. And across the line, who even has it? It is the 24. Turner somehow takes the win.
Andrew Waring boxing in Warling as they go through there. Andrew Waring's going to try and make it around the first turn safely. It's going to be almost 3 wide as they go up the corner. It is 3 wide as they go up towards turn 2.
Great move by Pete Herod, sensing the opportunity there. Great car control by the two drivers, banding wheels. It's not something you normally get away with in an open wheel car, but Pete Herod to the lead, still 3 wide all the way through Druids.
Gives him another shove. Things are getting rough, and now they come together fully as that happens behind them. Suddenly catching up. Here comes Devin Horvath into the mix.
Is he going to try to go the long way here around Bruxelles? I think he is. Almost contact there as that was Beaufil trying to get a little bit wide. Carrying the momentum around the outside is Paul Wildridge. He's going to dive it down into No Name, and he's got the position for now.
10th overall. Whoa, he spun! And Edwards is spun. Can he get at the line? No, he can't. Bolton snatches it up at the last moment. Taking advantage. It's rare you can see passes through here side by side. Probably not going to end well as they come together and cutting back underneath. 3 wide through this corner. This does not look good. This does not look good. They're still going to manage to hold on to it. And Nick Kuhn around the outside keeps that position.
They're going to try and pincer move him here, going 3 wide into turn 3. Goodness me. 3 wide through the turn. Bradley Holly has to back out of it. No, he goes for a spin and he's around.
He's to the inside and tries to shut the door, but it is way too late as the 7 has nothing for him except to break extremely late down into Andretti, try to go the long way around to defend, and he might have this one back. Round the outside, Ove Trangrade finds a little bit of grip, but he falls behind. Topi Kortaniemi has a nose ahead, tries to cover up, but the car is back there once again. Trangrade inside of turn 2. The battle carries on the last lap of the race for the lead here in round 6, and out of turn 3, Topi might have it done. No! He gets pinched down. Trangrade back up to the front.
Florence Arabian clinched a closely fought battle for P1 at Canadian Tire Motorsport last week, beating out Simon Mayer with 2 corners to go. It also saw another record broken. Sadly, Antonio Rees was unable to continue holding his absolutely magnificent top 2 finish streak. Was able to consolidate it all in a P4 finish. Will he continue to hold out and clinch all top 5 finishes for the season, making new records while he's at it, or will Tsukuba provide more surprises for the drivers? We'll find out together, so stick up your feet, kick your TVs to YouTube at the Global SimRacing Channel, and watch along with us for round 7 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Hi, I'm Robert O'Brien, and with me in the booth today is Michael Johnson. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Tsukuba as a track is quite a peculiar one, featuring a very short racing length, though with wide tarmac and sweeping hairpins. Our track guy will get down to the brass taxes of this 3-point track.
Welcome to Tsukuba Circuit. With it being roughly an hour north of Tokyo, Japan, it has proven a well-loved venue in spite of its small size. If anything, its short lap length has contributed to its popularity due to it being perfect for time attack competitions. The 2K track has 3 layouts to choose from, ranging between 1.5 to 2 kilometers in length. The shortest is a mere 6 turns, while the longest has 14. Open wheel, touring car, and motorcycle racing is held here, but the cramped nature always makes it a challenge to overtake. The majority of the lap is defined by its 3 hairpins, which all include different radii in banking. However, perhaps the most difficult corner is the final long sweeper, which tightens as it goes. This lures drivers into entering too fast or applying the power too early. This makes it a critical corner, with the run down the front stretch into the first hairpin being typically the best place to attempt a pass. With the way they squeeze this venue into a tiny little footprint, there's almost no runoff room at the exit of most corners. Overshoot it and it's a quick trip into the barriers. Pit entry is a very narrow strip of pavement to the inside of the final turn, so practice will be required if green flag pit stops are expected during the race. Everything about Tsukuba on paper makes it seem like it would be a footnote in the world of motorsports, but because of its inclusion in a number of popular video games, it's become famous worldwide among fans and drivers.
Now, Michael, it is quite the tight track for all the hairpins, but I think you're a lot more versed in it than I am. Why don't you take us through it?
Well, Tsukuba is an interesting track, one of my favorites. It's only just a touch over 2 kilometers long at 2.04 kilometers, 1.27 miles. 9 turns, but don't let that lead you to think there's not a lot of action going on here. This course at every corner leaves something to happen. You're going to see something everywhere in this 40-minute race.
Yeah, it is going to be quite difficult and quite hairy out there at spots. Before we go any further, I'd like to talk to you about our sponsor for this broadcast, 42 Stitches. 42 Stitches offers custom embroidery and full color heat transfer. Put your logo on shirts, hats, jackets, and anything else that you can imagine to promote your business and organization. They've also just recently expanded their capabilities in the vinyl graphics, so put your logo on your vehicles, great signage, or hand out stickers to potential customers, creating brand awareness. Check them out at 42stitches.com and let them put together a package especially for you today. Now, leading into the S1 Championship, unfortunately, actually, correction, not just doing that just yet. We are in the middle of qualifying, and it's getting down to, which I've learned is now brass tacks, as in TAKS, or CKS rather, not tax, as I've been led to believe for 25 years. Just under 5 minutes left to go, with Simon Mayer leading the way. He is currently the fastest car out there with a 104.284. Simon Mayer is just ahead of Florence Arabian, the car number 6, who is posting a 104.356 as he's practicing his pit stops. Judy Castro in third at the moment with a 104.365. Do I not see? Where is? I don't think we have Antonio Reese with us today, so that'll be a shame missing him today. But he's with us here in spirit, at least.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks that one of those tracks, I should say, that's a love it or hate it. This is one of the ones I love personally. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of challenge here. But I know there are some people who are just like, oh, it's such a short track and there's no passing opportunity. Honestly, every single corner you can pass on this track, and there's always something fun just about to happen. So I do not pity our director, Joe Peak, who's going to be trying to follow all the action going on in this race.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also quite the challenge coming into the hairpins. We're seeing Tom Gradwell going around the second hairpin as we speak. These kinds of cars are leaning themselves towards these sort of funky little tracks that are, not that the biggest cars could race them, but certainly these kinds of cars are best well suited for them. What would be the sort of the sticking points for the Formula V's coming around here? Would it be the hairpins, or will it be everything else in between?
I think the biggest differentiator for folks is going to be braking. And that's kind of a broken record for me, honestly, but braking is going to make the hugest difference here. There are very few points on this track where you need to brake heavily. There's turn 1, and honestly, it's not even that heavy. You're trailing super deep into that turn 1 as we watch Tom Gradwell right here come into turn 1, and he's just going to try to bleed off those brakes just slowly as he can, not hit the spun car, and work his way out using as much of the track as he possibly can. So the next zone you're going to see is just really a light touch right there at that pavement change, and then you want to get off of him quick, roll that speed around, and use, again, all the exit you can get away with. Here, right? This corner is just a tight, a light little lift as you're coming into it. If you can nail it right, you might have to give a little bit of a brush on those brakes, but for the most part, as you come around there, it's really just a light lift.
Arabian just taking pole there with a 104, 192. Trying to make sure that,
yeah, that's quite a nice lap. I've driven this track quite a few times. It's always been a lot hotter when I've driven it. So looking at what they're doing here, these are some impressive times. Anything in the 104s, which is honestly our top 10, and even 11 is so close, just right on the edge of that 104 range. We're looking at some really fast times with this 80-degree track today.
And we have the Formula Bs as they buzz around the track. Oh dear, Alexander Roggenbuck is gonna clip my ear for that little pun, but he loves it. We always love to see the Formula Bs come back around as he crosses the line with a 106, 844. Not going to be faster. Jeremy Lewis back down in 19th. He's got to make up some positions if he wants to continue pushing, and he's down the pecking order in the actual tables himself. We'll come to that in just a moment because they're going to also be doing this. A lot of practicing of that. Oh my goodness gracious. It's going to be a lot of practicing around the very, very tight pit entry, Michael. Now, is that going to provide some heart-throbbing moments where you're going to have the car skip over and back onto the track?
Yeah, so we watch Kenneth go around there. You get really close to that grass. And that grass, I swear, it reaches out and grabs you and slings you into the cars trying to make it around turn 9 cleanly. So that little bit as you're coming through, you've got to be careful. And if you're the person coming up behind and trying to make it around turn 9 and you're pushing for those extra laps, or maybe you've already pit, and you did a little bit early pit and you're trying to get out there and make an undercut, well, some surprising things can come out of that pit wall for you.
The countdown of 7, 6, and 5 we lead off to the end of qualifying as Flavio Dolo is one of the last to cross the line. He's not going to go faster. Paul Jackson is going to be the last one, or one of the first ones to actually cross the line and not be able to complete another lap. Anybody who's on the lap right now, that's one more lap to do, and you best be flying on that lap to get anywhere up there. He's not going to be faster this time by. He just did a 112.357. Niels Senkowski, rather than doing another lap, has opted to practice the pit. Oh, as we see the grass reaching out, he slips out.
Was that the commentator's curse that happened there? Because that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that. I think just you're feathering the throttle. You're also feathering the tarmac. You're feathering absolutely everything. Luca Leone does not go faster, so he will stay 18th at best. Flavio Andolo, I think he's looking at a practice pit stop. His car's body language is very much going towards that. Yeah, he goes in, does not want to post another time, and again, just trying to navigate his way in, and that is actually going to be it. I thought he was actually escaping out onto the tarmac there. His car looked like it might have jumped out, but he's not going to make it. But we do have the starting grid at the very least. But before we get to that, let's actually look at the championship and how they stack up today. Simon Mayer still leads the S1, so the professionals in the S1 standings. 456 points, being very hotly chased by Farens Arabian in second. Niels Senkowski is the next pro in the list, but he is 150 points behind, with Dudu Castro in 4th position. Rocco Horvath rounding out the top 5 there. In the S2 standings, Michael, it's looking a bit more hairy.
Yeah, we've got Johan Botenga holding on to first place by a solid 24 points. That's going to be hard to overcome. Jeremy Lewis hanging back there, doing the best he can. But the next jump to Ian Gibson, 109 points back. Now, this sets up a really nice third place battle between Ian and Frederic. 109, 114 points back. They are really in for the battle here. It'll be interesting to see how they do, with Jen taking up the 5th spot there, 218 points back.
And we go on to the Masters. Antonio Reis is not only the Masters leader, but he is also the overall leader, wouldn't you believe it? And he is, he puts a big smile on my face every time he comes around and talks to us. But he's not here today, unfortunately. So we won't be able to see how he cuts about Tsukuba. Tom Gradwell is a big jump back, minus 204 points. And then another big jump back to Leroy Coppage, minus 328 points behind. Then Jeff Cantor, minus 390 points behind Antonio Reis. And then Kurt Nune rounding out that top 5 with 416 point deficit. Now, with that all being said, the race is going to be a bit of a standard, but 40 minutes will seem like a long time around here, Michael.
Yeah, 40 minutes, you're looking at pretty much 40 laps. Well, with the pit stop, let's call it 39. Now, of course, they have a pit stop. They are required to take one pit stop. It's going to be because of limited fuel. And they have open setups, so they may choose to start with a little less fuel, hope for a little more speed, or go for the maximum fuel they're allowed, and then play with their setup. See where that car wants to rotate better, or however they need to get around the track. So it's going to be an interesting race, I think, to watch how people play out their strategies.
5 minutes of warm-up here. They're going to be trying their best to get as much rubber onto the tarmac as possible. That's Nielsen Keska on your screens as he goes around in his bright blue. I'm not sure. It has anime characters on it, so there you go. I mean,
well, that's appropriate.
Fan.
This track is right in the, well, I would say it's in the heart of Tokyo. It's actually on the suburbs of Tokyo. It's a great, fun little track. But yeah, I think that goes quite well with the theme of the week for the track.
And we get to the weather. Actually, we did discuss this. It is actually quite a bit cooler out there today. As you can see, the two sets of temperatures: Fahrenheit on top for the Imperial unit, and on the bottom is metric in Celsius. 69 Fahrenheit for the air temperature, which turns into 72 Fahrenheit for the track temperature. It's actually quite cool out there. 21 degrees air temperature, 22 Celsius for the actual track temperature. And as you can see, that was Thor Tulla attempting to avoid, I think, what has been fixed, but is still a physical barrier in the pits, which is that the bunch of steps to get into a part of the paddock. Another driver going around. We see that is Barnes Arabian in that bright purple. I've called it pink before. And you can just see there's the steps. You want to avoid them and not clobber them.
And not rear end the other car in the pit lane. Whoops! I'm pretty sure there are many apologies going on right now.
Well, I mean, that is another thing. Make sure that you do not have an accident in the pit stops, and if you do, that is going to end both your races, because while they do have a faster pair, so they can take another car out, and that's more sliding going around, just trying to hold it together. Paul Jackson providing us with what can happen around the hairpins of Tsukuba, making sure that you have to take the cars around with caution around the hairpins, because they can still spin, and they're still cars, and they still have limited grip, especially given the fact that they have no aero around the front, rear, or top. It is just you and the tires and the suspension setup that will put you in good stead. How important is the suspension setup for something like Tsukuba? Would you want it nice and firm suspension, or do you want the car to be able to lean into corners?
For me, what I like to see in a track like this, with a car like this, is you really kind of need to get the rear end jacked up a bit. You want that weight higher to get a better pendulum effect as you're trying to go around these super tight corners, these hairpins that are all over this track. So when you get in there and you're looking at what to do for my setup, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drop the front about as low as I can get it and not be banging off the curbing, and then try to get the rear up to a height just where it's comfortable, or on the edge of uncomfortable, you might want to say.
Well, they're going to have to be very comfortable in their cockpits, because it is grid time, and with the starting grid, it is going to be a collection of people, and they have a very short run-up. But we do have Florence Arabian in P1 with Simon Mayer in second, Dudu Castro in third, followed by Christopher Barry in fourth, Jim Brewster fifth, Flavio Dolo sixth, Thor Tulla seventh, Kenneth Batley in eighth, Ninth is Johan Botenga, and 10th is going to be Paolo Brem. And from there on, Michael, it seems that we have a collection of people.
So from there in 11th, we've got Leroy Coppage. Tom Gradwell brings it in 12th. Paul Jackson, 13th, followed by Gary Wobolt, Evandro Dantas, Frederick Reichsteig, Niels Sintowski, Luca Leone, Jeremy Lewis, and rounding out the top 20 is Alexander Roggenbroek.
Roggenbroek is rounding out the top 20, and then there is a collection behind them, just the extra few that were in the session but didn't put a lap time in. Joe Marant, Andrew Benna, Rocco Horvath, Jim McGill, and Russ Lundberg. The final three, respectively, did not set a qualifying time. They're, as we said, very, very short run-up, and they've already gotten started. It's very quick around here. It's you go, the pace car comes in, and then you're off, and you can just see the pace car going in at probably the very, very tightest the pace car will have to feather itself through. I mean, it almost takes up the entirety of the track, but that is Forens Arabian making no bones about it. He is already gone and through the wind as they take the green flag here for 14 minutes of Tsukuba. Forens Arabian taking the lead very early, making sure that he has got his stamp of approval on him, making sure that nothing happens, making sure that Simon Mayer is always behind him, making sure Jim Brewster and the likes are going behind nice and neatly. Simon is holding very well, just having to make sure that he doesn't have a few first lap incidents. Nope, all the way through it's actually looking like everybody's either giving each other the courtesy or single file.
I think everybody's got that 40 minutes in their head. They're going, I have to finish this race. And hey, kudos to everybody. I didn't see a single incident or even a near incident through turn one, even up through that first hairpin. Everybody looked like they were playing for that long game.
By the way, just to mention, Dudu Castro did not take the grid. He actually started in the pits. So that's why you did not see him. There was a gap for third and fourth, and he was the reason why he did not take to the start. Now, Niels Sintowski down in 10th is already starting to move up the grid, and you can just see him there. He's actually going side by side with another car and just going ahead of Tom Gradwell coming into the first turn. Lap 2 is... lap 1, it was very quiet, actually. Everybody was going around very nice and neatly. So, yeah, very, very much kudos to everybody. Nice and quiet, but I think that's how people would like it. These Formula Vs cannot take any sort of knock or any sort of issue. Johan Botenga in front, looking like he wants to make a move.
Anyone who's watched these races knows that every time you're talking about it at the beginning of the race, everyone says, hey, be great. These guys actually did it. Now we got Jim Brewster trying to make a push through here, trying to just slip right in behind to hold on to that slipstream as they come down that back stretch, looking to come up into, looks like turn number 9 here. How is he going to hold on to this? This is a nice battle closing in. That 3/4 tenths, he is well within the range to take advantage of that slipstream.
Oh, crikey, we just had a big wreck behind. That is involving 4 cars on turn 9. Oh, well, I said lap 1 was very nice. Lap 2, unfortunately, was not nice. Unfortunately, we just had a few issues. I'm just going to have a replay here, and we just see the slalom of cars looking around and pick out the car in the middle. That is going to be Niels Sintowski in the middle there as he comes around. The camera's now focused on him. Car number 39 as he sees the cars going around. That is a car. Oh, and how on earth did his car not take damage? I will never know, but he stops, and at the very least, he holds his brakes, making sure everything was nice and neat. But that was, I can safely report, Paul Jackson, Jeremy Lewis, Kenneth Batley, Leroy Coppage, and Frederick Gichtig all having issues. So that was actually 6 cars involved in that incident in one way or another.
Wow, that was good heads-up driving there to be able to get the car slowed down enough once he sees that yellow car in front of him going just a little bit off, and everybody's big on the binders right there. But I'm with you. I'm not sure how he was able to escape that without too much damage to keep going. But hey, you get on the binders quick enough, funny things can happen.
And on the binders he did, and he's still actually going out there. He has not come into the pits, and I'm amazed at how little damage he has. Now we're coming back to Thor. Oh, crikey. Forens Arabian is the next issue. He's turned himself all the way around. Oh, dearie me, not what he wants. turned all the way around into turn 4, slipped on the throttle and around the car stamps. Here's another replay.
I think this is a little bit of what I was talking about earlier, getting that rear end picked up just to the edge of danger, but I think he may have just come a tiny bit beyond. He's not on the curbing. It's just a little bit too much speed. We're talking 1/10 of a mile per hour too much, 1/10 of a kilometer per hour too much speed coming around this corner. And that rear end weight, if it's a little bit too high, you're going to find yourself in a little bit of trouble. As we see the replay here, Fortin's coming in, and it just tries to get away from him. He can't get that corrective steering in there, and that puts Simon Mayer into the lead.
It almost looked like the car snapped at him. Is the car that much sensitive? Would you say, or is it just a case of the setup being too sensitive?
I think it's set up in this case. Most of the traditional iRacing races, the ones that iRacing hosts, you have to race the standard default. So there's nothing you can do to the car. And everything seems to react very slowly, from braking to turn in to, throttle, because there's only, 50 horsepower in this car? So not a lot of stuff happens fast in this car. So when you get into that position, and we're missing some wheels. Russ Lundberg on the floor. He's trying to drive it. That car will not drive, sir. Unfortunately, he needs to tow, and he has done so. And that was quite the... and bang! He gets collected a little bit right there. Oh, he's doing his best impression of a Morgan.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. If any Morgan owners are out there, we're sorry, but they have a tendency to the wheel just pop, just going, and just never seeing it again. Though we do see right now a great battle forming. That is going to be the battle that is involving Tortola, Johan Botenga, Flavio Andolo, and co. And that is going to be Flavio Andolo and Johan Botenga having a bit of an issue. Sorry, that was Botenga, sorry, having a bit of an issue going off track and having to reform into the group, and obviously not looking too happy out there.
And notice this little purple monster coming up the back here. That's our former leader working his way back through the track. Personally, I like with a lap car in front of him too. I'm partial to purple. People who've seen me race know that I often race a purple car. So this one holds a special place in my heart. Watching him go, just coming around turn 9 here. Car looks really stable. He's got a nice draft. Let's see if he tries to make this dive into 1. He's a little bit far away from my taste, but it could happen. Nope, good cover on the inside. Very nice cover on the inside from Botenga. I believe that's Botenga. As Arabian comes around, I think we're going to see a pass this lap. He's setting him up. He's filling up those mirrors, doing everything he can just to get inside his head and let him know that, hey, I'm here. I'm going to be in front of you any minute now.
Exactly. But that one person that did that and succeeded, you may have noticed that on your scoreboards, Simon Mayer now leads this race. The car 933 was overtaken, I can tell you, on turn 1 of this race, and was just an absolute masterclass. As Jim Brewster says, no, it is my time to shine. I'm the bright red car. You cannot stop me. I wish to be in the lead with the green wheels.
Dayglow wheels for the win. Let's get him around here. Come on. The Dayglow power is going to take this. And there he goes. He gets it. He got it. Beautiful pass.
On the inside of turn number 9, Jim Brewster says, no, it is my time to shine with the Dayglow wheels and with the bright red car. Throwback. Seems to be a throwback. I remember of a time when in the 30s when Ford made very nice cars and people painted them bright red, which was very, very nice, like an apple red. And, sort of
I think that was the start of the Ferrari Ford thing. They were trying to take their color, maybe. Could have been. It's possible.
Maybe. It would have been 30 years later until Ford had inklings of racing against Ferrari in the bright red, and we all saw what happened. If you ever have a movie to watch this weekend, Le Mans 66, I think it's called. Ford versus Ferrari.
Yep, on this, Ford versus Ferrari on our little island here in the United States, but the rest of the world, it was Le Mans 66, I believe.
Coming back to Forens Arabian, he's found himself into P5, but he's in a wedge. He's in a tight spot. Flavio Andullo behind him, Thortilla in front of him. He'll try and attack Thortilla coming into turn 1, but Flavio Andullo has other ideas, but goes wide. Does not execute very well on that move. It is quite tricky to get side by side into the outside of the hairpins. We are on board with Flavio Andullo as he looks to see if Florence Arabian makes a move. Oh,
Thor makes a little bit of a twitch, gets outside. Trying to fight off. There could be a little bit of psychology going in there. When you see someone you know, like Florence, coming up behind you, it gets in your head. You know he's a good driver. You know he's at the top of the table. That's somebody, when they're filling up your mirrors with that bright purple car, you're going to sit back and go, where does he want to pass me? I mean, that's just the truth of it.
Bit like Senna back in the day. I remember Martin Brundle in an interview for the BBC he did when they were just, Florence Arabian diving into pits.
Diving into the pits. Let's see if he makes it through here. I'm not going to say a word about the grass, that he made it through beautifully. So good job.
And as you can see on the very tip of the left, that is also going to be Rocco Horvath joining him in the pits. Pit buddies, as I'd like to call it. And they come into pits. Rocco Horvath finds his box at the back there. So he's already immediately in his pit box, just behind the cones and to the left and front. There it is. Florence Arabian taking his pit stop. He does not take a fast spare. Neither do they. And he's still in. He's still in there. He's still in his box.
For a while.
He's stuck.
I don't know what's going. Maybe there were some repairs, but no, they have a fast repair, so that should have put him out right away.
I think he's got.
Here he goes.
I think he put too much fuel in, or he accidentally ticked his tires. That's 20 seconds. He's way too far back.
Yeah, I didn't see the car jack up though. Maybe if we get a replay of it do it, but I didn't see the car get jacked up to put tires on. And honestly, at this track, there is no reason to change your tires. This is not a high scrub track.
No. Well, I mean, if it counts sliding through some of the corners as scrubbing, but I mean, with these kinds of cars, absolutely not. But I can safely assure you, he did not go up onto the jacks whatsoever. Back to the lead, though, with Jim Brewster in the lead right now, fighting off Simon Mayer. Very staunch defense by Jim Brewster. Obviously, ate his Weetabix this morning, or other cereals are available if you don't like Weetabix, but I like Weetabix.
It looks like, we'll call it Wheaties for the U.S. crowd. So he's not letting Jim get away. I think there was a really good pass that was made.
And that is Flavio Andullo with a popped wheel in the same turn as another individual that we just saw, and that was going to be Roslenberg.
I'm glad this is simulated, because that would have hurt a lot.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. And he's unfortunately had to take the tow, as did Luca Leone. And back to the lead. Simon Mayer on the inside has done the Jim Brewster move.
We may have an over-under here. He's set up beautifully. He's on that inside. This is where he made his pass before. Look at that, nice holding onto the inside. But I don't think Simon's having any of it this time. Get on the throttle and can't quite get there. There's a little overlap. You know the spotter's going crazy, right? Oh, now when we come into the brake zone here, holding it tight to the inside. This is some really... Oh, no, and around he goes. Oh, it was such a good attempt, too. But that puts us with a new second place, Christopher Barry, with Simon Mayer having to make up ground.
Just coming to a replay there, and we're just going to watch sort of the whole interchange. This is just on the edge of your screens on the left there. That is the the green colored wheels of Jim Brewster, and he'll just come into shot right about now. There he is. Coming into shot, he is just ever so slightly ahead. And then look at the left front tire of the car we're following of Simon Mayer. In he goes, gets back onto the curbs, and car goes around, disagrees with it.
Yeah, when he came out onto that red and white, just a little bit is all it took, and it puts an oscillation into that left front wheel, and it slows things down just enough to make that rear end come around. When I go around that corner, either I'm completely off the red and white, or I get it over onto that green, get that left side completely over onto the green.
Christopher Barrett in the Mountain Dew green mobile coming around. It seems to be. I seem to feel like that this is a common theme. The lead two cars are sporting green today. Is green the lucky color?
It's got to be. Green's a good color for everyone. Me, I take the red and the green, put them together, and I get the oh, no, that's blue. Sorry. I got to go back and remember my primary colors. Red and green is going to be brown, so we'll not go with that one. But, yeah, I think we got a little bit of green happiness happening up here. Looks good on the wheels of that car of Jim Brewster anyway. And, of course, that Mountain Dew car trying to chase him down. This is interesting, though. We've got two cars. We've got a Masters and then an amateurs in the first and second spot. The pro is actually in third place today, right now.
Andrew Bonneau coming back a bit to 10th position. This is the battle for the top 10. Evandro Dantas and Andrew Bonneau fighting each other. And this is going to be for 10th and 4th position. And Evandro Dantas, by the way, has pitted. Andrew Bonneau has not. So it'll be a free pass once Andrew Bonneau comes into the pits. Now, I can actually say this with confidence, that only 15 minutes are gone, and on the inside goes Evandro Dantas. He makes the move on the inside. That outside.
Come on. Oh, this is good. This is a nice run. Very, very well done from the number 32 car. Pushing it around the outside.
Oh, that's another car gone off in front of him.
Oh, didn't like the pass.
a little bit of argy-bargy, but you can't have argy-bargy in these kinds of cars, otherwise, well, we've seen what happens. The wheels pop off.
Well, the wheels fall off, yeah.
Yeah, the wheels fall off like a Morgan. They do a Morgan, and they go running away.
They become a three-wheeler all of a sudden.
Yeah. But I don't think they can go under their own steam with that. We're just going to have a quick replay of just that incident there in particular. That was a lapped car, by the way. I can confirm. Ever so slightly on the rear there. Now, it is actually, these cars are quite unique because you can actually, the nose is actually quite, it's like a Lego piece or like a jigsaw puzzle. It kind of fits in between the wheel arch, or, well, the lack of a wheel arch, but the wheel and the rear canopy. And if you get it in there, you can actually, it actually is very, very difficult to get it out cleanly during a corner, especially, Michael.
It's really good for practicing your pit maneuvers if you're in law enforcement. You can get it right up in there and just spin that car right around in front of you. But they did a good job of only making presence known and not actually spinning the car. Oh, but you know what I see? My favorite colors crawling up from the back there. Who is it in that purple car?
Foreign's Arabian, after his pit stop, after a very lengthy pit stop, is now having to put in, I would say, a Herculean effort at this stage, because not only did he have that spin, he now has to contend with the fact that he is the longest pit stop out there, 7 seconds slower than anyone else that has made a regular pit stop on the inside of Johan Batenga. He needs to pass the 664 clean, and the 664 takes his time to come into the pit stop, so he gets past.
Yeah, they probably should have communicated a little bit there, because that was a little interesting over-under of, hey, I'm going to go into the pits this lap. Why don't you just stay on the left?
Johan Batenga, that's a second stop. What is going on? Has he got penalties? Because it's not scheduled.
Here. Oh, nope. Looks like he may have some internet trouble or something, and he's just decided to park it for the day. I've done that before.
This is Simon Mary. He's in third. Oh, this is for a pit stop, though. I was getting concerned that we were having people coming in and having penalties. But nope, this is for scheduled pit stop. He'll need to come in, avoid those cones. He sees them. Just avoid them. And in he comes. His box will be up a ways. So here he goes into his box and stop. Angles it very effectively to get a nice, easy run out.
Somebody's been watching their Formula One favorite drivers.
Hey, well, it's effective. He's also the fastest pit stop around. He did a 8.3 in the box itself and is back out again just ahead of... Where is he? I just lost him. He's ahead of Rocco Horvath.
Yeah, right in front of Rocco Horvath, who's about 4 seconds behind him. Looks like, unless my timing screen is a little bit off. But yeah, I'm thinking he's about 4 seconds back. And trying to catch up to Castro in front of him, who's a good ways up, about 5 seconds in front. So we'll see how he progresses through this lap after he's taken on his fuel.
I can say that Dudu Castro will have to come in again. Reminder, he was starting from the pit stops, so he started from the pits, correction. And that is going to be Gary Waldbelt in the pits. And he is taking his scheduled pit stop. So he is going to have to face the music here of making sure that he keeps the good speed in the pits. Uh-oh. Has he lost fuel? No. Uh-oh. I thought he lost fuel, but he just
we just lost him behind the Coca-Cola sign, I think it was all. But, we were talking about that presence in your mirror. Did you take a look at his helmet?
I did not know, actually, no.
It looked like he was trying to do a Senna replica helmet on there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Jim Brewster, he doesn't need no Senna helmet. He just needs to get into the pits. And here he comes. He is the car making it very obvious where he wanted to go. Now, he's not taking any risks. I can already tell. He's sort of taking it nice and easy, nice and dandy into the pit stalls. There he goes, holding it for 60. The speed limit here is 60 kilometers an hour. But they do not have a pit limiter on these cars. I mean, it's practically in second gear, so you just have to hold it. Now, we just have a pick comparison between himself and Simon Mayer. Now, Mayer is the ballpark figure. Even though Mayer had the issue of the spin, he will still be the key figure here. And that is Simon Mayer. Jim Brewster still in his box. What's going on? Jim Brewster still in his box, and Simon Mayer screams on by.
Looks like Simon is getting back into his groove here. He had that brilliant short stop just over 8 seconds and took on just enough fuel. We'll see how this plays out at the end, though. Did he take on enough fuel?
Now, we have actually lost a lap of the speculative. It was speculative to be 38 laps at the start of this race, but with the pit stops having done their bit, it will now be 37 speculative laps, so one less lap. So I think whoever has been gambling, get your gambling dice out and see if it'll be 37 or 38 as time goes on. If the pit picks up, we might see 38 come back again. There's Jim Brewster on your screens. And it is going to be Jim Brewster sort of leading the charge here as he is trying to get back that time that he has lost. He's 2 positions behind Simon Mayer. He's in 6th. Simon Mayer is in 4th. And he's got Orko Horvath in the middle, looking to spice things up. And you can see Simon Mayer. That is Simon Mayer in the silver-ish car, being just ahead of, I think that is a lapped car, but not the Formula B.
Not the Formula B. That's going to be Luca Leone, giving Simon a very nice tow, though. I think Simon's not too unhappy in this position because Luca is just fast enough to keep ahead of him and give him a nice big hole in the air so he can pull a little bit better times, a little higher speed going down. Now, when I say a little higher, I really do mean a little. It's only about 1 mile per hour difference. As he cuts up the inside, let's go take a look at Christopher Berry here. Christopher is still in the lead coming down into turn 1 here. He still needs to pit, though. He is absolutely sipping the fuel here. He may be our last one to pit. Maybe Castro also.
So I can tell you that Christopher Barry, Dudu Castro, Tom Gradwell, and Andrew Bonneau have all yet to pit. So 4 people have yet to pit, and we will see how that plays out. That's the car 73 on your screens. Car 73 being Dudu Castro. Remember, he started in the pits, so he will have to pit again. He does not get any fancy layaways for starting from the pits. He only gets the layaway of being safe. You thought maybe there would have been an issue in turn 1. Unfortunately, the gamble did not pay off, so he was in the smack middle of a few cars once he got out, and also will have to deal with the fact that he will be down the pecking order quite a bit of ways once he comes in for its pit stop. But for now, he is in 2nd place ahead of Tom Gradwell, who's chasing him.
It's not a bad place to be, 2nd place and starting from the pit. I think I might have made that same decision depending on where I lined up, and given where he was, it's probably flip a coin, see what happens. Okay, I'll start in the pit this time, because you really want to be out of that melee of lap 1, turn 1. But looks like he's doing a nice job closing it up here, going through turn 1, making a little bit of a run down turn 2. Again, he's got a little bit of a hole to work his way around, getting a ton more, not a ton more speed, a tiny bit more speed. Oh, going a little bit wide, but he nails that apex. Beautiful exit. It's going to make a light lift right here as he looks around. Oh, and he's got a little bit of heat coming up from behind.
That's Tom Gradwell behind him in a 909. Tom Gradwell has yet to stop. And he'll be joining him in the pits, I imagine, when all is said and done, using the slipstream as best he can to save fuel and to keep abreast of Dudu Castro. Now, it won't be for the standings in the leagues because they're both different classes. Dudu Castro is part of the professionals class. Tom Gradwell is part of the masters class. But interestingly enough, all three classes are represented by all top 3 drivers at the moment. Oh, that is going to be Tom Gradwell going very wide, coming out of turn 9, but does not execute into turn 1.
Yeah, you've got to really balance the car when you're coming out of 9. You need to get the weight evenly distributed, and if you get a little bit wiggly coming around there, you can't make that push into turn 1. It's a great setup to get there as long as your opponent makes the mistake and you don't.
Into Jim Brewster's territory. I don't think he would have expected to see so many cars around him, but unfortunately he was stuck in the box for too long and is still chasing down Rocco Horvath, who is his ticket to top 5 and his ticket to starting to close the gap towards Simon Mayer, but the gap has still stayed at around, as near as it makes a difference, of 5 seconds for the longest time now. Simon Mayer and Rocco Horvath posting similar lap times, but Jim Brewster is actually quite a bit quicker. He's did a 104.5 last time round compared to Rocco Horvath's 104.8.
And they've got the Formula B that they're gapping behind them. Looks like they're trying to make up some ground coming around turn 9 here. Looking towards the start-finish line. Nice exit. Is he going to try this on turn 1? Let's see what he tries to do here. Is it a... Oh, putting the nose in. Oh, God, that is so close. They're getting in there. God, I think Jim's going to hold on to this, though. He's got good speed on the exit. But looks like Rocco's not having any of that. Oh, no, and we've got to contact. Both of them go around into the grass and back at the middle of the track. Trying to get rolling again. Oh, that was unfortunate for both of them.
Oh, dear. I almost just... I looked away and I didn't want to see what would happen because I saw the car rolling backwards, but Jim just about made it. Now, does he have damage to that suspension? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But there is the bright purple car now past Evandro Dantas and past, I think, the lapped car and past a few more besides. And that is the Formula B there on the outside. But we're going to go to replay very quickly. On with the Formula B of Roggebuck. As he comes around, he sees the car of Jim Brewster go by him, and I'd say he was very surprised to see, oh dear, what's Jim doing?
Oh, I wasn't expecting to pass him because Jim was really on a tear, making some beautiful lap times going around there, and I'm guessing that was a surprise for the Formula B.
Do note, by the way, that Andrew Bernot is in a bit, so that means only 3 left, and that is the top 3 that have yet to put. Jim Brewster is now being chased by Florence Arabian, who is attempting to make up as many points as possible after not only his turn 4 incident where he spanned the car around, but his very slow pit stop time. He'll have plenty of fuel though, so he'll be able to make a full use of the loud pedal, but it's not going to make much of a difference when the car wants to spin around, so he'll have to still follow the rules of the grip, and he does ever edge so closer to the back of Jim Brewster. On the inside he goes.
I'm wondering if there was a little friendly communication going on there between Forenz and Jim. I saw a radio go up for Jim, and he may have been telling Forenz to go on around. We're different classes here. Let's work together and see if we can catch back up.
The survey says probably not, because Jim definitely was fighting back. I think he wanted to see if he could do some reverse psychology, maybe. He can still fight back once the curtain rises. In this case, the orchestra playing the symphony of "Let's Do Battle." In this case, after we had the symphonies before, but oh, for poor position actually. Is that Dantas letting somebody by?
Well, letting, I don't know there's any letting someone by without previous arrangement, but looks like these guys are going to try. I'm looking forward to see what happens at turn 1 here. This is a really nice setup for turn 1. Oh, looks like we've got Barry finally in. Christopher Barry, P4 currently.
He's coming out right in front of... Oh, he stays ahead of Lawrence Raven by a cool margin of 4 seconds. So I say Christopher Barry is having happy smiles on his face right now. He'll have to just keep the car coming home, and that's about it for him. And doesn't need to do much else. And off he goes into 4th position, only losing 1 position to Simon Mayer, but that was expected. And here we go, continuing the battle of Florence Arabian and Jim Brewster, going on for yet another lap.
Yeah, and it looks like we have Tom Gradwell still needs to pit. Now, talk about sipping fuel. Tom's going to be, from my count, our last person. I'm actually showing that Dudu Castro is already pit. Am I mistaken there?
Yeah. He Dudu Castro started from the pits. He will still need to pit in the first instance. He's on lap 28 of his current stint, so he had started from the pits. He is now the last person to pit. So I think the analogy of sipping fuel can definitely go to him in this case.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, I think if I were in his position, I would be really enjoying that P1 right next to my name for at least 1 lap. I'd try to hold on to it as long as I could and just hold on, say I led at least a lap, because that does feel good for a while when you're out there. Even if you know, you on your inside know it's just because of pit rotation, it doesn't matter. I was still leading.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a good accolade to say, you know, hey, I led a lap. Doesn't matter if I led like half a lap or 1 lap or 2 laps. I still led. And by the way, that is going to be Florence Arabian chasing down a lapped car, wanted to get by. Now, as a note, in iRacing, the blue flags are, unless the league says they are mandatory, they are suggestive. They're just saying that a faster class is coming up behind you. Good idea to let them by, but they are not mandatory unless the league says they are mandatory. Now, lets them by, lap car moves out the way.
Moves out of the way, nicely lets him by. Or as we like to say sometimes in the racing schools, blue flag means there's a race going on and you are not part of it.
But like hide and seek, it's like we are seeking to get by you. Unfortunately, as harsh as it sounds, we're just trying to get by you so we can continue this race. As we see,
sometimes it can work to your advantage, though. When you do get that case we saw earlier, where I believe it was Simon Mayer was coming up on someone, but they were going fast enough. I think it was Luca Leone, who had just a fast enough lap where it actually benefited Simon well enough that he is in 2nd place. And when Dudu Castro decides it's time to stop sipping on that fuel and actually go get some more, oh, like right now, hey, the commentator's curse worked in a positive way this time.
The commentator's affirmation.
I like that term better.
Yeah, as Dudu Castro finally comes into the pits and makes his pit stop, and now Simon Mayer very clearly has the race all to himself. By the way, Dudu Castro is going to be going down into at least 7th, but he will be down in 8th. Down in 7th he goes. So the running order now is Simon Mayer in 1st, Christopher Barry in 2nd, Florence Arabian, even after 2 mistakes, is in 3rd, Jim Brewster in 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is Rocco Horvath as we continue on looking at Simon Mayer.
Simon Mayer is doing a wonderful job here. It's really becoming a masterclass of how to recover from mistakes. Don't let the mistake hold you back. It's okay. It happened. Now let's look forward and finish this race as best as we can. And I would say P1 is a really good place to be right now.
Neil Sinkowski, by the way, one of the pros, being chased by Tom Gradwell. It's been a very interesting, might just be Halloween weekend, but it's been very interesting to see that I think everybody is scrapping with everybody else. We saw Jim Brewster scrapping for the lead. Now we see Tom Gradwell. He's showing his stamp of approval for this race because he's racing Neil Sinkowski.
And he's getting a little bit of benefit from that that draft, and I think he may be letting that play into his head. He doesn't want to mess up Neil's race too much. But hey, you know, hey, if I can get by you, regardless of which class I'm in, I'm going to go by you.
Just a reminder, by the way, that Tom Gradwell is in the Australian time zone, so it must be very early in the morning for him. So it is actually going to be Halloween for him, Halloween Day, as it were, for him. And at the very least, he is still putting in quite good laps. He has gained a few positions, so he is having a good race today, chasing down Senkowski. I do want to jump, though, to the car number 32, battling the car number 14 of Rocco Horvath. This is for the top 5, and this is for the professionals. Rocco Horvath attempting to hold off Evandro Dantas in the car number 32 there, and the yellow car on your screens is going to be Evandro Dantas, and the white and blue and black car, and cyan actually, is going to be Rocco Horvath.
Rocco's doing a nice job holding him off here, going through turn 1, coming up into this hairpin. This is where a lot of mistakes have been made today. Let's see. Now they make it through beautifully. Nice turn. Looks like they're both just kind of sitting back, waiting for the other one to make a mistake. We may see some mirror filling coming up here soon, because with that car in front, that lap car up there, I think we're going to have an interesting opportunity for a nice little slingshot of the draft coming around here.
Needs to make sure the slingshot is as crisp and clean as can be, and then he might have a good chance of making the overtake when he needs to, but not right now. He's holding back a little bit, just setting himself up and setting himself up for what seems to be the exit, but just not too close to want to be able to make the position. Or will I say that he is closing the distance quite considerably. He does not make the move, though.
No, I think he felt like it's better to make it to the end of the race, learn where he's got the strength, where his opponent may not have the same strengths he does, and try to save that till we get a little bit later. We still got a little over 4 minutes left in this race, so he's just trying to sit in a position where he knows that he can make it to the end and then get on that podium.
And it is going to be the battle for the top 5, and it is imperative, and just for the bragging rights more than anything else, but it is imperative for the championship in the pros. He's still going around. You could just see the pink car, or the purple car, Florence Arabian. He is actually chasing down Christopher Barry at 0.3 of a second lap on that last lap in particular. As Christopher Barry attempts to hold off up until the end, he'll have 3 minutes and 40 seconds. You can see there, that is the comparison. Christopher Barry has been consistently a little bit slower than Florence Arabian. And again, it has happened. 0.4 has been taken out of Christopher Barry's gap to Florence Arabian. And Florence Arabian looks like an absolute, he'd be my driver today, because with the 2 problems that he had, it would have sent him back a long ways, and it did send him back a long ways, but he kept his head in it.
It would be interesting to see if those mistakes had not happened, just how far out in front he would be. It's hard to say, because the draft really does play a big part in these cars at this track. But being able to work from how I believe he was back around 9th, 7th, somewhere around there, working all the way back up to 3rd place, and still only about 6.5 seconds out of the lead. Anything can happen. We have probably about 3 laps to go here. This is going to be an interesting finish.
And this is the leader, Simon Mayer. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, so there will be at least 2 laps to go as his clock ticks down. And all he has to do is make it to the end. He'll have to do nothing else. The gap will be nice and tidy. We're looking at about a 3-second gap at the end of the race, if my maths are correct, or about a 4-second gap if my maths are correct. And Rocco Horvath in 5th, still trying to hold off Evandro Dantas. So some drivers are fighting for positions here all the way up to the end. It's never going to be easy for them, though.
Any position that has points associated with it, you're going to fight for it. So sometimes it's that pass is going to be 1 point, sometimes it's going to be 5. It depends on where you are, but you're going to want to take those points and hold on to them. So I'm again holding on here. I think there's going to be a wise pass made at the end, or it's going to be Maybe like coming up here into turn 9, we could see something set up for turn 1. Let's watch how that unfolds. But right now we're going to go to Christopher Barry and Florence Arabian. Arabian wants to go for that second place. Let's see if he can close this up going into turn 1. Takes a little bit wider line, a little gentler. Gets the fastest lap. He is on a tear. Oh, and he's got a nice hole in the air from Christopher in front of him. That's helping him get his way up there. Let's see if he has any chance to catch Simon. I'm thinking he might be a little bit out of range, though.
Florence Arabian will have absolutely no bones about it. He needs to be in B2. He needs to minimize the damage that, unfortunately, he himself caused to his race. And that second place will be essentially where he started. Or, correction, not where he started. It'd be only one position down from where he started. So he'll be pretty happy about that, given the relative way the race has gone. On the inside, he will go around the outside.
Christopher looks like he wants to defend this, but that outside line, if he can hold on to the speed, keep that overlap, he's going to push out onto this green just a little bit, come back onto the racing surface, a little overlap of the wheels as we get into the braking zone for turn 1. Takes tight to the inside. Christopher's not having any of that, but I don't think Forens is going to let him dictate this particular part of the story, as Forens just pulls ahead just enough. Oh, and Christopher's coming back around the outside, looking to make it around the hairpin, but Forens is once again saying, nope, this is my story.
White flag, by the way, on this lap. We forgot to mention, and I think Simon Mayer just did his best, but it is going to be his race to absolutely rue, because not only did he have his own mistake, at least he didn't have a mistake in the bits. You see the weave from him. You can see how happy he is in that car. That is going to be, I think, his maiden victory after so many false starts and last week's heartbreak for him. He crossed the line as the winner at round 7 of Formula V Weekend Royals. We jump back, and that is Florence Arabian coming into second. Christopher Barry not holding the gap enough and just letting go at the last moment. And that's going to be Rocco Horvath in the 5th, securing the top 5.
Looks like Jim Brewster got that 4th place. So nice recovery drive from him. Finishing out, we're going to see, where are we? P6. Looks like Evandro Dantas. Duda Castro is going to bring in 7th. Nielsen Towski in 8th. Tom Gradwell in 9th. And Thor Tulo in 10th.
And as the rest of them come across the line, we're going to take it over to a quick break. Don't go away. We're going to have post-race interviews and analysis with myself and Michael, so stick around and wait around for that. Welcome back to the Formula V Weekend Warriors here at the Global SimRacing Channel. We just finished up coverage for the race itself of Tsukuba 2000 with Simon Mayer being your victor. I think he'd be very happy with himself after so many false starts, as I mentioned before, and that heartbreak at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park last week where he was pipped to the post with 2 corners to go by the Barnes Arabian of the car number 6, who came home in second after 2 mistakes, one on track, one off track, and then he manages to pull it out of the hat, the rabbit out of the hat, perform a magic trick. It is Halloween weekend after all, and just absolutely blitzed the track once he got back and going. Christopher Barry, even though he did get pipped to the post himself, was very, very happy with the P3 and winner of the amateurs or the S2s, and the S3 winner or the Masters winner, Jim Brewster, who was fighting all the way through and then having his own little mistake in the pit stops, is in 4th. 5th, Rocco Horvath. 6th, Evandro Dantas. Dudu Castro in 7th. Neil Stankowski in 8th. Tom Gradwell in 9th. And Thor Tulla in 10th.
And 11th place, we've got Jim McGill, followed by Andrew Benna in 12th. Gary Wobolt in 13th. Flavio Andalo in 14th, followed by Luca Leone in 15th. Joe Merritt in 16th. Alexander Roggenbuch in 17th. 18th place, Kenneth Batley, followed by Jeremy Lewis and L. Leroy Coppage, bringing out the top 20.
And then rounding it is going to be Paul Jackson, the last of the runners who actually crossed the finish line. And then we have Ross Lundberg retired, Johan Betenga retired, Federico Richtig retired, and Paolo Brem. I don't think he actually he didn't take to the start whatsoever. Now, we do have our race winner, Simon Mayer, who I'm pretty sure is going to have a big old smile on his face. So, Simon, how do you feel?
Hi, guys. Good to hear you. Yeah. Happy.
Yeah, I think I do think that you are a bit speechless about that, but take us through it, because I did see that you were not without a few hair-raising moments, a few scares yourself. Was the mistake that you made at turn 4, was that running in the back of your mind when you made it throughout the rest of the race, or were you just trying to focus on the here and now?
Yeah, I just take every corner as it can, really. I haven't had much practice this week, or any practice at all on this track, so it's quite tricky. There's a few tricky corners. You can do some silly things, but it all worked out well.
And the point of yourself and Farns Arabian and then Jim Brewster were doing battle. Was it difficult out there battling those guys? Did they put up a good fight for you?
Yeah, unfortunately, Florence made a early mistake, which wasn't good for him. Obviously, good for the rest of us, because he's by far the quickest guy in the series, in my reckoning. But yeah, I had a good battle with Jim. We were losing time, obviously, so my off track probably did me good in the end.
Well, I mean, it got you to P1, so I mean, all that is well that ends well. Before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs or any thanks you'd like to give?
Yeah, of course. Sponsor, of course, making all this possible. 42 Stitches, Jim and his organisation, Stephen organising you guys for the broadcast, and everyone who took part.
Pleasure talking to you as always, Simon. I hope to see you next week, by the way, because it is a good thing to see a new winner on the top step of the pony. That was Simon Mayer speaking to us on his maiden race win for this season. Then we switch over to Farns Arabian, and Michael Johnson was talking to him.
Farns, what a wonderful race you had out there. I guess there was a little bit of frustration that went on. Curious, what was it that took so long in that pit stop? You had 20 seconds or so sitting still in that pit stop. What was going on there?
Well, both my spin and the pit stop are related. The moment I spun, I realized I had fueled my car to the qualifying fuel level. So I had to put more fuel.
So it was just a fuel issue. You were one of the early ones to go in. So that was a question that we were trying to figure out, was why did you come in so early? Now, that puts you pretty far back into the pack. I think you were around 7th or 8th, possibly farther back. What was your plan to get through? in your case, we'll call them back markers because you did come back to second place. Although they are some pretty talented drivers, especially all through that top 10. What was your plan to get through that whole pack?
Well, my plan was to always line up the corner right before the hairpin, right before the straight. I'm probably one of the only drivers that go into second gear, which allows me to get a very sharp and tight corner through there. But it also adds up where I can have a better exit, which means I can almost every time line up a pass there, which guarantees me moving in the order once I catch up to the driver.
So were you doing second gear only at turn 4, or were you also doing it at turn 8?
Both tight hairpins, I was going into second gear, and that also, it's a blade with two edges, right? I cut myself once, and that put me back into the order. Plus the fuel, I really don't know why I'm in second place right now.
We'll just call it immense talent. Does that sit well?
This is very well, but everybody here drives really well these days. I'm really enjoying it.
Great talent begets great talent. So how about let's see, who do you have to thank for this wonderful performance today?
I mean, I'll take my girlfriend as always. She's always supportive. But for qualifying, Flavio, you gave me the last lap best time of the race, so I really enjoyed that.
Well, kudos to going out to fellow racer Flavio. Well done all around. Let's take it over to our third place finisher, which is going to be Christopher Berry, and Robert O'Brien is with him now.
I am indeed. Christopher, lead of the P2s, but you definitely did yourself proud in the Mountain Dew Greenmobile, and you're the winner of the or the head of the amateurs for this race. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I feel pretty good. It's funny when you get into the racing, you kind of forget that they're you got a 3-tiered number, that I'm in the S2s, but so I guess without looking at the numbers, you're so focused on the race, it's hard, I don't know the names as well to remember who's exactly who. So I probably should have let Florence by a little bit easier there. It was pretty clear he was going to get me. It was weird. I found myself kind of behind the fast guys in qualifying, but kind of the front of the similar guys or guys who were similar pace. So I tried to hang on, and I guess I got lucky with a couple spins there. So I just tried to drive safe and hang on as well as I could without making the mistake.
And did you think that it would turn out this way? Because there was a few incidents that sort of leapfrogged you up into third place. Did you see the incidents that were involving Florence?
I did, and again, that's what, from the start, I just wanted to settle in. Starting from P4, it was pretty clear the three guys ahead of me were pulling away. And like I said, I was just trying to hang on in the draft, but I think they were even able to lose me that way. So then I found myself by myself and just took the easy passes that came to me.
And it's sort of what was your plan, really? Because you were fighting, at the end, Farns Arabian for position. Was it?
I knew he was going to catch me, but I thought if I could put up enough of a fight, I'd make that last lap. I'd be able to survive it. But then once we made a little contact, it looked like a little bit of net code over the line there, and I just said, all right, well, there's no sense in trying to make it any tougher. I'll take my, I'll settle in for the overall P3 and the S2 win.
Well, I mean, P3 is still P3 and a P1 for the amateurs, so most definitely not too shabby out there. Have any thanks or any shout-outs you'd like to give before we let you go?
Yeah, I guess thanks sponsor for 2 Stitches, and thanks Steve for seeing me in the public sessions and getting me over here with you guys.
More than perfect. A pleasure as always to talk to you, Christopher. Let you go now, but always happy to see you next week. Hopefully you make another good performance. And that was Christopher Barry with us, talking to us from P3 and the winner of the amateurs. But that does round out our performances and our orchestra, as we say, as we bid you adieu for this broadcast. But before we let you guys go and back to your holiday weekends, we'd like to thank 42 Stitches. Check them out at 42stitches.com and let them put together a package especially for you today. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screens, and a special thanks go out to June Lalonde, you can see her down at the bottom, for the wonderful music that she provides. See the screen for how to get a hold of her great work, and thanks to the team today, Michael, Joe, and Dougie. You can find out more about GSRC at the Global SimRacing Channel.com or through our social media listed on the screen. Please check out the merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. Come on, pick up something, at least a little thing, and we keep that link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Next race for these guys for the Formula V Weekend Warriors is going to be at Summit Point on the 6th of November at the same time as before. We have upcoming races for the other series as well on the screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar. Make sure that you stick around for them. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.